Good morning, YouTubers. It's Thursday, June 13th, 2024, and I just finished my new EVSE installation right here. It's on a pedestal, and I just wanted to make a brief video about that. It was quite a process. Back in February, we had solar installed on the roof of this garage, and the installers had to install a new power pole out here. Oh, it's about 12 feet or so to the east of the garage, north end of the garage, and they had to dig a trench over to the garage to install a conduit for the solar line coming down from the roof. And I took that opportunity because they had a trench half dug for me, and right here, right where my foot is, you can see, if you're here especially, that the ground's been disturbed, and I dug a trench all the way over from that edge of the garage over to here, and it had to make a 45-degree angle turn to get to this junction box right here I installed. And I installed all the conduit, and I pulled twine through it so that the electrician would have a way to pull the wire. In other words, the pulling wire was already installed. And we got a 60 amp breaker and put it out there in the brand new 200 amp service box out there on the pole with nothing hooked up to it, of course. And also bought a 20 amp breaker for the 120 volt duplex outlet, which is right here, which I wanted to take that opportunity to pull that power. We're going to do all this work. It gives me 4 new outlets in the garage. And finally got around to it. We went on vacation to Montana to visit my brother in mid-May, and when we got back I told the electrician I was ready to pull the wire. Now I've been using this EVSE here, which is a portable one. This is a Tera, as is the new one, and this is programmable up to 32 amps, but it's meant to carry in the car. If I travel, I'll carry this unit with me, and it plugs in, of course. But I wanted an EVSE which would go up to 48 amps. As I said, this is also a Tera. I hope you can read that. And it does, and because when I own an Ioniq 5, and the Ioniq 5, when it pulls into the garage right here and parks, this back corner right where I'm standing here next to the EVSE is where the charge port is, instead of all the way around the opposite side of the car. So that's one of the problems I wanted to solve. And also I wanted to be able to charge up to 48 amps, which the car is capable of in theory. Now there's been some controversy about this because early model 2022s, 2023s had overheating issues when they were charging at 48 amps. This is separate from the 12 volt battery problem, which Hyundai Ioniq 5s and 6s, and I think the Genesis have all encountered. So I think the 12 volt problem is a very solvable one. I think probably Hyundai solved it. I'm not very sure about this overheating problem when you're charging at 48 amps. Now currently, well, let me back up here a little bit. I wanted a pedestal, And because, as you can see, this is between the garage doors, I just have this narrow space here to install everything. And with the junction box and everything on the wall, I didn't want to install it on the wall because, as you can see, the charging cord would run into the rails for the garage doors and so forth. So I wanted it away, but I wanted to utilize this space here. So I put a pedestal in. And this is just a very small base pier down here. Mounting pad. Probably only weighs about 50 pounds, and it's held in the ground with just soil around it and some rebar spiked into the soil underneath it. So I wanted to make sure it was more solid. So on the pedestal I installed this triangulation bracket. It's made out of aluminum. I just happened to have it on hand, and it was bendable. And I can lean on this mount now, see? It's solid, and so I don't have to worry about that. And unit just plugs in there. It's got a curve here which allows you to hang the cord. So we're all good. And it's hardwired. This is the line that comes out of the EVSE and goes in to, I hope you can see that. Goes right into the junction box right here. Okay. So that all got done. I had to do all that work. The electrician pulled the wire and rigged up some lug nuts on the line that went into the EVSE so we could hook it up. Eyelets. And I was good to go. I got it running the other day. Now, because like today, for example, it's going to be one of the hottest days of the year. It's going to be 107 degrees today. We're in June in southern New Mexico, so you can guess what that's like. Until we get into July, we're not going to get much of a break on the weather. We have this period in first 3 weeks of June usually where it's hot and dry and clear, and it can get up to towards 110 degrees, peaking out in the daytime. It's just not good weather on electronics and electrical equipment and so forth. It's not good weather for that. So I'm not charging the car at 48 amps right now. I have it set for 40 amps, and I only charge between midnight and 8 a.m., which is the coolest part of the day cycle, so night cycle that is. And also it's my TOU rated, 4.7 cents a kilowatt hour. So I take advantage of that also. So that's the plan. We're going to try that. And this thing's also programmable to not only 48 amps, 40 amps, 32 amps, and 24 amps. And this one here is programmable from 32 amps to 24 amps, 20 amps, and 16 amps. So I have quite a bit of flexibility at what charging speed I choose. And I kind of like 40 amps. I've been charging all along, all the time I've owned electric cars at no more than 32 amps, you know, in my level 2 chargers. So just to even have 40 amps, I'm charging it over 9 kilowatts. It's faster. It's about 30 miles an hour. So that's definitely a way to go. And but I can even charge faster. And I probably will go to 48 amps once the weather breaks, probably in the fall. I'll just charge it 40 amps all summer long and when it's hot like it is. We can get lows that don't, at night, that don't peak over 70 degrees. And then the sun rises and you're off to the races. So that's all I have for you today. Wish me luck. I've only charged one time for 4 hours at 40 amps, and I charged from 47% up to 90%, And I came out and I checked the unit every hour to see that it hadn't turned itself off or anything due to overheating issues. And it didn't. It went the whole 4 hours at 40 amps with seemingly no trouble. So I expect great things out of this setup. I really do. So wish me luck. And anyway, they've reported no problems with overheating or charging problems with Ionic 5s at 32 amps at all. So that's always an option if I can't go the other way. So anyway, I now have two EVSEs, one for, you know, a permanent install in the garage, and the other is for traveling, opportunity charging, so forth. So there you have it. Happy trails, everyone, and keep using that electroline. Drives fossil fuel people crazy. Bye-bye.